Welcome back. Today we are talking with Daman Sood and his latest book, My Experiments with Third-Party Risk Management. Daman, great first and second segment there. I really liked the talk on the materiality assessment. You talk about another assessment in there. It's called let's hope I say this right, Stub substitutability assessment.
Right.
Can you tell us about that?
Thank you. And Alex, both these go hand in hand. If you do one, it will be incomplete work. So materiality assessment helps me to find a material. Who is material to me? Third parties we are talking about. Substitutivity assessment. Can I substitute this material third party? Do I need to? Say there are two portions in this. Do I need to substitute? And can I substitute? So my definition of substitutivity assessment is that it evaluates the ability to replace a particular supplier. Supplier means we will replace this with third parties with an alternative in case of disruption. So our relationship with the third party dies in two ways. One is natural. If it was 5 years contract, for example, it's a natural death. Or it may be abrupt. If we are not happy with the services of our third party, then we would like to end the relationship. But it's not just that simple. Ending a relationship cut off. We need to find a replacement. We need to find an alternative. We need to find a substitute. When we start doing this in a structured way, that process is called substitutivity or substitutability assessment. All that we are attempting to do is to minimize our risk. A material third party is a big risk for me. A non-performing material third party is a big risk. I want to replace. So how do I find that I need to replace someone? That is part one of substitutivity assessment. And then I need to find another one. Assume I find, but I will not blindly replace. I will again do an assessment, part two of substitutivity assessment, whether I can replace A with B. That's the thought process behind this, sir. Let me say that way.
Would you perform a materiality assessment on the uh, alternatives? So because I
Yes
know there's a
and
link,
no.
right,
Yes,
between these two assessments. So would you perform that on
yes.
the potential alternates?
Exactly. So I understand your question, and that means that we are going deep. We are understanding this. There are great links, big links, serious links between these two. As I said, both go hand in hand: materiality assessment as well as substitutivity assessment. And when I'm finding the substitute, I would like to do an assessment on them, materiality, as you said. But hold on, I'm giving it a different parameter, different way of doing this assessment, because
Mhm.
if assume A is existing, I'm finding B, or I have found B but not replaced yet. When I do, B automatically is a material third party, so I may not have to conduct that assessment immediately, but I'm doing some assessment for sure to establish whether this is the right choice for me or not. That's more in substitutivity assessment than the materiality assessment.
Okay. Would you change some of the parameters then?
Yes, I would recommend. Yes,
And
definitely.
what would you change? What would you recommend changing, and how should we look at that?
Okay. So again, I'll say this is four-step journey, according to me. First is identify critical third parties. So material third parties. Then assess alternatives. Assume I have found an alternative B. But then I need to do feasibility analysis also. And then I need to plan this change shift over. It will not be overnight shift. I plan and I implement this change. This is a big change in the company. Quickly, I'll give those then parameters according to me. I will say supplier availability is most important, then supplier reliability, supplier capacity. I need 100 kg of material, assume, but are they able to supply 100 kg? Do they have spare capacity if I want to expand in future? Supplier location with geopolitical risks, this is very important. With costs, this is very important that my supplier should be close to me. But then in BCM, applying BCM principles, I would like to look at that safe separation distance also. Quality, technical compatibility, lead time. I want some supplies, products, services, raw material. How soon can that person provide me? And the cost impact. So these 8, 9 parameters, and similar to materiality assessment, a scoring range 1 to 5, but we will have to define what is 1, what is 2, 3, etc. Then weightage also, a weighted score will be calculated, and again, we will develop some guideline. Assume if I'm scoring less than 50%, that means this material third party needs to be substituted. I
Would,
find, yes, sorry.
sorry, I was just going to say, would some of those questions or the questions you want to ask this potential new supplier to replace an existing one because you're not happy, would that be part of like a request for proposal, or would this be a separate step outside of that?
It can be in the request for proposal before proposal, perhaps request for information. We issue
Yeah.
RFIs also. I want to understand. This is like we do customer qualification also. We don't want to work with any customer, every customer. We do proposal or RFPs qualification also. We don't want to respond to every request that is coming, every business that is coming in the world. So yes, it could be RFI also. Before we go deep, we want to collect some information, and out of 100, perhaps I move 50 out. Don't even want to spend more time with them. I'm being reasonable within myself, within my resources that I have. Yes. So
Let's
part one,
go
yes,
ahead.
sorry.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
I was saying there are two parts in substitutivity assessment. I've attempted to find a material critical third party needs to be substituted. They are not performing well. Some parameters, some guidelines available for them. And then when I find another one, a possible, as of now, I'm saying possible substitute or alternative, can they actually substitute this? There are some parameters for that also. For example, what is their capacity? What lead time do they take? How old, well established they are? A is a risk to me, but B may be a bigger risk. Then I don't substitute. And that's where it becomes interesting, Alex. Now I have a risk A identified. A material third party is a risk to me because they are not performing well. I want to substitute. A substitute scores low on my assessment, so I don't want to, which means I stay with the risk. I'll have to stay with the risk. And that's a big, big challenge. A
Mhm.
known risk, but it seems I don't have an alternative. So that's why we need to do more and we need to go deep into these discussions and calculations and assessments.
Now, let's say we do an assessment on um, our current vendors, and we have things implemented, and we've made changes, and we've got a well-established process in place where we are evaluating our vendors. How often should we do that? Because if we do identify a group of critical third-party vendors and we're looking at their second, third, and fourth, and maybe even further suppliers, how often do we do that review? Because doing that first one would take, as you said earlier on, with I think it was the Bank of England new document this month, can take years. So how often should we perform that kind of an exercise?
Okay. Simple answer. How often have we been performing vendor evaluation currently? This is an established concept. Procurement department will raise hand. Yes, we have been doing this. Daman, we do this. So please tell me how often do you do currently? So my first response will be continue the same way. If you say we do every month, please do. If you have that capability. If you say no, we do in once in 3 years, please do that. Second step, I may say once in 3 years is not good. So there is no one right answer for this. As we generally say, once in a year is good if we have that capability. If we don't do, then we are living with the risk. That's what we have to understand and admit.
Yeah. I can't imagine a lot of companies being able to have the resources to be able to do that. But at some point, you do have to do it because you want to be able to address your risks,
Exactly.
identify new risks, and
Exactly.
uncover risks that you've had all along that you never knew you had.
Yes. So when I went deep into this topic, Alex, about last year when I started writing the book, also then, and then I've introduced a new term, a role in the organization. I'm not saying new position necessarily. I'm calling it CVDM, Chief Vendor Data Manager. And in BCAWH, I spoke about that. The book details it a lot. Quickly, I'm saying because there's a lot of data to be collected, analyzed, assessed, processed about the vendors. And we have 500 or 5,000 people, say, organizations say. So I'm recommending a new role, Chief Vendor Data Manager. It's big task. I agree with you. It's a big task.
Well, we've only got 2 minutes left. Do you have any final thoughts that you'd like to share with regards to third-party risk management?
So I'd like to sum up like this, Alex, that there is no current ISO standard for TPRM. Many times we get driven by standards. Many organizations, not necessarily all organizations, but there is no, sadly, I would say, or fortunately, some people will say there is no standard yet on TPRM. But it's a requirement we need to admit, which is coming from different angles. Simply, it is risk management, and we need to go deep. We need to be better on our risk management. The focus may come from operational resilience currently, number of regulations in number of countries in number of industry sectors, and number of standards directly asking for third-party risk management to be better. So we need to do it, like it or not. It's part of our life, but be reasonable and practicable in our approach. That's what I would like to say. No need to get blindly into the rat race. Many times we use that term also. It's good. That's what I should do. And I want to be better. So I should keep improving. Make it a long journey, planned journey.
Yes, and you say that in your book. Daman, it's always a pleasure chatting with you, and congratulations on your latest book.
Thank you very much, Alex. It's a pleasure
Lots,
for me.
I do recommend it. There's a lot of good information in here, especially about those assessments that Daman talked about here. So please pick up a copy and, like mine, try and get it signed. So
Thank you very
thank you
much.
once again, Daman. Always a pleasure.
Pleasure for me also. Thank you very much.
And everyone watching and listening, stay prepared, everybody. If you liked that video, thumbs up. If you didn't like that video, thumbs down. But leave me a message and let me know your thoughts. Of course, don't forget to subscribe. And in the meantime, stay prepared, everybody.